Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Gaming on a Budget. In this episode, we are going to look at the third-person shooter Warframe from Digital Extremes, a free-to-play title that is currently in open beta. As a member of a futuristic warrior race known as the Tenno, you will sprint, jump, dive, and wall walk your way through alien landscapes and spaceships to complete your mission objectives. Featuring single-player and four-player co-op as well as one-on-one PvP arenas, a crafting system, and gear that levels with you as you play, there is quite a bit of depth to keep you busy in this game. You begin as a Tenno that was just awoken from stasis after an unspecified period of time, with a female voice calling herself the Lotus telling you to get moving as there are people coming for you. After this intro sequence and a brief tutorial, you get to pick one of 3 warframes to begin the game with, and then are let loose on the solar system map to pick your first missions. Each planet is a system of its own and has anywhere from 10 to 20 missions that can be played, but you will have to unlock them by completing each one in sequence. These missions can be played multiple times once they are unlocked, and you will find yourself coming back to them to gain experience in crafting materials as well as to complete alert missions. There are several different mission types ranging from capturing or rescuing a single target, destroying or sabotaging items, defending against waves of enemies, to exterminating everything on the map. In addition to the standard missions, there are alert missions that pop up throughout the day that offer credits, resources, and plans as possible rewards. These all take place in locales such as spaceships, mining asteroids, frozen landscapes, and desert ruins. Each map is made up of sections that are randomized every time you play, and the effect works much like levels in Diablo and other ARPGs. Digital Extremes is continuing to increase the number of map sections as well as adding new art templates to the game, but it can get a bit repetitive once you've started leveling your third or fourth warframe. Multiplayer is handled smoothly with a contacts list for friends and clan members or watching general chat for groups forming. The quickest way to group up is simply to put yourself in the online mode, click on any mission, and the game will queue you into one that is just starting or one that is in progress but has not passed the mission objectives. Every mission in the game can be played with up to 3 other players, and DE has made the matchmaking system easy to drop in and out of. Maps are generally only around 10 to 15 minutes in length unless you're playing defense or survival where your goal is to last as long as possible. Each match is hosted on a player computer, however, so the latency of the game can be greatly dependent on that player's internet connection. The community as a whole is friendly, and I have not experienced much grief from other players, but as you get into the higher level missions, you will find most groups will play through very quickly, and you may find yourself trying to catch up if you have a slower warframe and no speed boosts. There are a total of 15 warframes currently in the game, and these are basically your classes, as each one has 4 unique abilities with very wide-ranging and powerful effects. None of these abilities, or mods as they're called, will be equipped to start with, as you will have to unlock space on your frame to install them as it levels up. There are also many other mods that can be collected as you play, and these are not restricted to a particular frame. Each frame has 10 slots for standard mods and 1 slot for an aura mod. Along with the mod slots, there is also an energy total that increases as you level to a maximum of 30 or 60 if you attach an upgrade item called an Orokin Reactor. All the mods in the game have a polarity mark on them, as well as an energy number that will be subtracted from the total available energy on your frame. Some of the slots have a polarity mark on them as well, and matching mod polarities with slots will reduce the energy usage. It is possible to alter the polarity slots of your frame, but you can only do it one at a time once your frame hits level 30, and then you have to level the suit again. Combat in Warframe is done very well, and while I'm generally not one for melee combat when I have a perfectly good assault rifle strapped to my back, hacking and slashing in this game with the giant two-handed weapons is just ridiculous fun. Once you find a rhythm in a large pack of enemies, it is incredibly satisfying to tear through mobs like you're swinging at golf balls. Melee weapons range from small fast attack daggers to large two-handed swords and axes, and each has varying stats and bonuses. The guns are also very well done, and there are several varying types of weapons, from assault rifles, shotguns, pistols, throwing stars, and even a flamethrower. All the weapons have a similar polarity and energy setup on them for the mods as the frames do, and changing polarities is handled the same way as well. In addition to the weapons, there are also sentinel companions that are little floating robots that hover over your shoulder as you play through the game, and will do different things depending on which one you have selected and what mods you have attached to it. Crafting in the game is used to create your weapons and warframes as well as your sentinel companions. There is a cash shop as well where most of the items can be purchased for platinum, which is the currency you buy with real money. The alternative is to purchase the blueprints with credits, the currency you earn by completing missions, and then fabricating them with materials collected as you loot objects in the game. A lot of the gear available to purchase with platinum can be easily obtained, with all in-game items and credits if you spend some time grinding missions. There are a couple of exceptions to this where some item blueprints are randomly offered as mission rewards or from alert missions and can be almost impossible to collect without extreme patience and luck. Some of the more powerful items cannot be purchased from the cash shop, but instead the blueprints are available only from a clan dojo that has researched it. These items are built in the same way as anything else, but one of the materials required for each clan is a forma, something that can only be collected from what you could term as endgame missions, or are purchased directly from the cash shop. You can build everything in the game without spending a dime, but honestly, if you really want to see all the weapons and warframes there are to offer, you can expect to pay upwards of $50 or more depending on your patience level. The only thing tied to the cash shop that is very frustrating is the Warframe revives. Each frame has a total of 4 revives for a 24-hour period. Burn those up and you'll have to pay platinum in order to continue playing or wait for them to reset the next day. Generally this isn't too big of an issue because if you go down there is a short amount of time in which anyone else can revive you, much like Borderlands. It is however a sticking point for me that you can get locked out of playing for dying. Digital Extremes does a good job of keeping the game alive with continual content updates in the form of new weapons and warframes, as well as week-long events in the game. These events usually have an overall goal and statistic tracking in them, where the more you participate, the bigger the reward you will receive at the end. The game also tracks individual and clan stats in the game, and on the website you can see where you stand with the rest of the community. This is, however, one of the more glaring shortcomings of the game, since this is the extent of the endgame content. It is a lot of fun to play with the different warframes and weapons, as well as seeing the new content being deployed with each major patch, but at this time there aren't any raid bosses or anything like that. There are missions in the Oroken Void which require keys to access, and it is there that you can find the prime versions of some of the warframes and weapons, which are the same items with slightly different art and increased polarities to start with. Void missions, however, are still the same mission types as before, but with a different tile set and traps added. The addition of a dueling room in the clan dojos and the conclave missions, which are the one-on-one deathmatch arenas, does introduce a needed element in the game, but DE is still working on what the endgame really looks like. Warframe delivers a real enjoyable experience for both single-player and multiplayer in a free-to-play title. Despite some of its shortcomings, it is a game I believe that is worth your time and does a decent job of letting you invest only the money that you are comfortable with. The parkour elements are done quite well, and really lets you feel like a badass ninja as you bounce around the map while still providing some real challenges as you progress. The game is still an open beta, and as such, all that you see here is subject to change before the final release. You can download it on the Warframe website, or directly from Steam, although the patch launcher is still there in both versions. The game is also slated for release on the PS4 as well, but I don't have any information on that version yet. This has been Gaming on a Budget, and if you liked what you saw, click the like button below and subscribe to catch each weekly episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.